Hey everyone, today we're on the Magicycle Ocelot Pro. This is a pretty awesome Step-Thru 52 volt 750 watt bike. We're going to put it through all its paces today, going up some hills, testing out the top speed, the power of this bike, and we're going to see if it lives up to the performance of the Magicycle Cruiser Pro, because currently that's the most powerful bike that I have. We're going to start here. This is the test I do in all my videos. First and foremost, we're going to go up this with throttle only and see if it pulls me to the top. It should, being 750 watts. Most of my 750 watt bikes will pull me up this with just throttle. Let's see how fast we can do it. So we are maintaining 14, 13 miles an hour, 12, 11. Never drop below 11 miles per hour, guys. That's pretty good. Some of my bikes drop to about 8 miles per hour on that hill. So not bad at all, according to the first hill. So I'm gonna take a pretty long ride on this bike today, guys, out through the country. I have to go visit my brother and drop some stuff off to him at his house. So I figured what better way than to take an e-bike. It was fully charged because I was gonna test it today anyway. Save some gas money because gas prices are pretty high, guys. So gonna save a little bit of money that way and get to film my video. So kill two birds with one stone. I hope you guys enjoy this video and find it helpful. Hopefully it informs you of how this bike performs if you guys were looking at purchasing a Step-Thru bike or just an e-bike in general. If you guys don't know what you're looking for, make sure you guys check out some of my other videos because you might find them helpful, especially if you don't know anything about e-bikes. And let's see what else. Oh, and if you're interested in this bike by the end of this video, I'll put an affiliate link down below in the description where you can pick one up, and a coupon code for $100 off, I believe it is, that you guys can save some money. So make sure you guys check that out and use that. It is an affiliate link, and I will make a small commission if you guys use it, which is what helps support the channel. So I want to thank you guys in advance for the support. And I do want to mention that Magicycle sent me this bike for testing, but trust me guys, we're going to put it through the paces today. It's going to be I'm going to do a longer ride today on this. This is a 20 amp hour 52 volt battery, so we're gonna ride a pretty good distance out through the country, pretty good distance, and see what the battery voltage is when I get back home, see how much power we use. Now I do have this bike turned up to a class 3 to get the max performance out of it, so it is gonna chew through that battery life a little faster than if it was set to a class 2. And I do have it adjusted so that it has a faster start. Now if you guys want better battery efficiency, you want to travel at slower speeds and tune down the slow start feature in this bike, make it a little bit easier to start, a little softer start, so that when you hit the throttle or start pedaling, it doesn't take off so fast. I like the peppiness of this bike, so I have it turned up, but like I said, it is going to use a little bit more battery that way. So this bike, I don't know if you guys noticed coming down that hill, no squeaks or squeals in the brakes. Has a really nice set of Step-Thru hydraulic disc brakes. Very happy with those. On the original Magicycle I got, the brakes were a little bit disappointing, and they did come up with upgrades since then, but this bike has some awesome hydraulic brakes on it, guys, and 180 millimeter rotors. I'm gonna jump in here real quick. We're gonna go over these specs and details before we get into the rest of this video so you guys know all about the bike and what to look for. So up here on the handlebars, they have a set of rubber grips, which are pretty ergonomic. Next to that is the control pad for controlling your pedal assist levels and your different things on your display with the information button. The display on this bike is really nice, colorful display. Very easy to read. Your wattage output up here on the top, same display is on their other Magicycle Cruiser and Cruiser Pro. Really love the display of this bike. And when you go into the menu system, it's very easy, very self-explanatory on everything. No P codes to have to configure or figure out what's what. It tells you what everything is, which is really nice. Over here on the right hand side, we have a half grip twist throttle with a 7-speed Shimano shifter, which leads down to the 14 to 28 freewheel in the rear. And it's using a Shimano Altus derailleur, coming up the chain to a 48 tooth chain ring in the front that has an aluminum double-sided guard and a large set of Welgo pedals. For power, this bike's using a 52 volt battery that's built into the frame right here. You have a charge port on the side for charging the battery. And you can also charge the battery when it's out of the bike as well. That's using a 22 amp controller to power the 750 watt hub motor in the rear. Nice neoprene cover here for chain slap, so your chain doesn't come down and nick your frame. It has an awesome rack on the back that's perfect size for mounting a bag or a set of panniers on the rails. Really like the design of the rack. Not too wide to where you can't strap your bags on. To me, it's just perfect. It does come with a set of these straps. And if you're interested in a suspension post, I'll put a link down below to this one and also a cheaper one, or the rear pannier bags that I use, the rear bag, cell phone holders, bike alarms, things like that. I'll put all that down below. It'll be an affiliate link, so make sure you guys check that out if you're interested in stuff like that. Now, with that being said, this bike does not come with this suspension seat post. I put it in here for this ride because it's going to be a long 20-mile ride or so. And what's awesome is the seat height with the seat post that it comes with. The minimum seat height is 30 inches and the maximum seat height is 36.5 inches. So really nice that they could get that seat height down to 30 inches. Going to be great for shorter riders. And one thing to keep in mind that I absolutely love about this bike is the bike is a 76-pound bike when I weighed it on my scale, but if you take the battery out of the bike and the seat out of the bike, it gets it down to about 62 pounds. So you're still able to use this bike on a lot of bike racks. You're within 2 pounds of the limit of most 60-pound bike racks for fat tire racks. Some racks you can get that have a higher weight rating than that, but the one I use is right about 60 pounds, and it gets it down low enough to be able to use that rack. Now, some of the other bikes that I've reviewed that are like a moped style are really excellent bikes and look awesome, but they are up to 95 pounds. You take the batteries out, they still weigh a good 80 some pounds, and you're gonna have a hard time carrying them on bike racks. So that's one thing I absolutely love about this bike, is gonna be a little bit easier and a little bit more options for being able to transport it on bike racks and things like that. And that is one thing that I'm gonna include in my upcoming video of what you should look for when buying an e-bike. And one of those things that I think is important is the weight. So make sure you guys stick around to see that video. For stopping power up here on the handlebars, it's using a set of Step-Thru hydraulic disc brakes coming down to 180 millimeter rotors in both the front and the rear of the bike. It has a nice adjustable heavy duty kickstand on it, and it's sitting on a nice pair of 20 by 4 inch Kenda fat tires with a reflective strip around them. For safety, in the front, this bike has a headlight, and in the rear has a tail light that actually gets brighter when you pull the brake lever, so it is actually a brake light, not just a tail light, which is really nice to see. And for suspension, it has a really nice suspension in the front with a lot of different clicks for compression adjustment, or you can lock it out. But on the right hand side, it does not have any preload adjuster. I didn't seem to have a problem with not having a preload. There's plenty of adjustment here and very soft on the front suspension. However, there is no rear suspension on this bike, so I do definitely recommend, like I said, a suspension seat post, which will be down in the description for both a cheaper version and this Redshift one that I absolutely love. The bike does come with a set of full fenders in both the front and the rear of the bike, and there's 4 mounting points on the front to be able to mount one of their racks or baskets. I'm definitely going to be getting the basket for the front of this like I have on the Cruiser Pro, because very, very nice looking little basket that you can put on the front there. Really nice to see for extra storage and carrying capacity. I love the way that the handlebars on this have a nice rise to them and are adjustable. They are slightly swept back, which is nice. You just have a good, nice riding feel with these handlebars. And overall, guys, just a very beautiful bike, really nice. Really love this bike. Honestly, it's probably going to be one of my favorites for sure. So those are most of the main features. I'll talk a little bit more about it in the video, but let's get back to the ride test. All right, guys, so this is why I love when bikes have a lot of power, because sometimes when you have to ride on a main road like this, you don't want to have to slow down to 5 miles per hour or whatever coming up. You just want to get off the road as fast as you can sometimes. And that's why I love the bikes that have lots of power, because when you hit a hill, that's when it's going to matter. 500-watt bikes are great and going to be great for probably 80% of people. Maybe, I would say, I don't know. Because most people are going to ride them around town and level, not super fast on bike trails, things like that. But if you're riding through country, up a lot of hills like this, you're going to want to consider a little bit more powerful bike to get you through some of those hills and things like that. Like I said, 500-watt bikes will go up hills just fine with a little bit of pedaling for the most part, If you guys haven't seen my hill test video that I did a few weeks back, make sure you guys check that out, because it was a very good video in my opinion, but I think a few people took that video the wrong way. I was trying to show that, you know, not only out of 19 bikes which one had the most power with just throttle, but was also trying to show that with just a little bit of pedaling, I'd made it up the hills fairly easily on almost all the bikes. Well, I did make it up on all of them, a little more effort in some than others. So make sure you guys check that out if you're not familiar with the power of different motors, 500 watt, 750 watt, 300 watt. So make sure you guys check that video out. I think one was 250 watts, the Angway that was in there. Spoiler alert, the Magicycle Cruiser Pro 1, it made it all the way up the hill with a partial battery. And I got a lot of feedback from that video saying that I should have did that test with full batteries on every bike. Yeah, you guys are right, but the only ones that had half battery was the Magicycle, which won, so I didn't think it mattered, and the G-Force ZM bike, which I said I was gonna charge it up and do it again with that one. That's what it was the day I filmed, and I just wanted to throw it in there just to show you guys a comparison. And then I took the Electric X Premium up the hill with 50% battery, and then I charged it up and took it right up after with a full battery just to show you guys the difference. So I don't know what everybody was complaining about. I thought it was a pretty fair test. So make sure you guys check that out. Now, assembly on this bike, guys, was very easy actually. All you have to do is put on the handlebars, put on the front wheel, the front light, and front fender. Everything else was pretty good. I went over all the nuts and bolts on the bike, and honestly, guys, I didn't even have to touch these brakes. I was very surprised. I may have just gotten lucky, but normally I have to adjust brakes on bikes. I didn't touch these. I just wiped the rotors down with some brake cleaner. And make sure you guys do that before you ride your bike to get any oils from assembly off of them. You don't want that to get embedded into your brake pads. But very easy on assembly, guys. All right, here we go down a hill, 29 miles per hour, 30. I'm gonna hit the brakes. Ooh, I can lock the back wheel up easily. It actually skidded a little bit back there. I don't want to burn my tire off, but yeah, very good brakes, guys. Very good stopping power. You can see no squeals, no squeaks. So let's test out the pedal assist levels on this bike. Let me turn off the headlight so you guys can see the display a little bit better. Pedal assist 1. Now you can adjust your pedal assist levels in the display from 0 to 3 up to, I believe, 0 to 9. It came set 0 to 7. I changed it to 0 to 5, so I have 5 different levels of assist. And I turned down pedal assist 1 to 25% because PAS 1 seemed a little bit fast in my opinion. So now I'm set at about 25%, going about 9 miles per hour, but you can tune those down. The display is very easy to use, just like their original bike. No codes to have to figure out. It tells you plain as day what you're adjusting. And so I'm not gonna go through all the different levels because there's really no point, because you guys can adjust them to whatever you want. So we're gonna go ahead up into pedal assist 5 and see what we can do with throttle only. This is a pretty level stretch here. 20, 21, 23, 24, and it gets up to speed pretty quick, guys. 26, 27, 28. And this is throttle only, 29. And I'm 165 pounds plus the bag on the back, probably about 170 pounds. 29 miles per hour with throttle only on level ground. Now this does have an automatic cruise control. After you hold the throttle for so many seconds, it does engage. To disengage it, you either hit one of the brakes or you hit the throttle again and it will disengage cruise control. Now, I don't typically like when e-bike companies program this to be automatic. I would prefer to be able to hit a switch to turn cruise control on, because in my opinion, that's a little bit dangerous. And if you e-bike companies are listening to me, start making that be able to be activated by either a switch or in the settings be able to turn that off, because some people are not gonna like that. So I'm gonna try to activate cruise control here. Cruise control is now activated, and I'm gonna start pedaling and see, whoa, I was in pedal assist 5, so it took off. Now I'm gonna quit pedaling and see if it still stayed engaged. Some bikes, when you start pedaling, it disables the cruise, and some bikes, it allows you to keep your setting. And I'm slowing down pretty good, so it looks like it disabled it. So if your cruise is set and you start pedaling, it's gonna disable your cruise as well. And I try to test everything I can on these bikes, guys. Try to give you guys the best use scenario, case scenario on these to see what, you know, to show you what you can expect when you get one. I may miss some things here and there. If I do and you guys know anything that I missed, please put it down in the comments to help others out. But cruise control is activated again. Gonna go ahead, pedal, let off, and yes, it deactivated it. So to deactivate it, you either pull the brake, hit the throttle, or start pedaling. All right, now we're gonna try just pedal assist 5 and see how fast we can get it up to just pedaling. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And this is how fast the cadence is when I'm pedaling, 29. And I'm not really putting much effort in. So I would say it's the same pedaling. Pedaling at 20 miles per hour isn't bad as far as the cadence goes. Let me show you, let me bump this down a little bit to maybe 3. This is 20, me pedaling, not too bad, being able to keep up with the pedals. Still got pressure, no ghost pedaling at 20 to 21 miles an hour. But if you guys start getting above that, it is gonna be a little hard to keep up on the pedals. Would have been nice to see a little bit different freewheel in the back, maybe an 11-tooth freewheel. I always like those lower freewheels for just being able to pedal like this at top speed. I might actually end up changing it on this bike if I can, because this is probably going to be one of my favorite bikes, to be honest, guys. It's a really close toss-up between this and maybe the Rusher. Rusher's a sweet bike as well, but this thing definitely cruises. Picks up speed good. I'll show you. This is full throttle from a dead stop. This is slightly uphill. Up to speed very easily. Alright guys, I made it here. So on the trip meter on the bike it shows 7.5 miles and on the GPS 7.99. So it is in about 8 miles, it is reading about a half a mile short on the bike. You may be able to go in and adjust the tire size to get that a little more accurate. I didn't really check the speed last time. We'll see if the speeds are accurate later on. But overall, guys, so far, very good power, very good speed. In a little bit, we're gonna run this thing out through the country. See you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, and we're off. Back towards my house. So you can see here, it has a Shimano Altus derailleur, which is a step up above entry level, and it shifts right through those gears flawlessly, no problems at all. Most hub motors do shift through even when you have a cheaper derailleur, because the motor is coming from the wheel itself, so there's really not any tension on that chain when you're shifting, and it makes it really nice and easy to shift through the gears. So let's bump this thing up. And I'll show you the cadence here at top speed, 25, 27, 28, 29. This is at 29 miles per hour. I'm still putting pressure on the pedals. It is a little fast though. That's why I would have liked a different freewheel on here. There's 30 miles an hour. And I'll show you guys the cadence at 20 miles per hour. There's 12 miles per hour. 16, 17, 18, 19, there's 20. Right here is 20, so that's about how fast you'd be pedaling at 20. Definitely would like a different freewheel for those higher speeds. All right, so now checking the speed on the bike with the display versus GPS. The bike is reading about 1 mile per hour less than GPS, which is odd because normally it's the opposite way. Usually bikes actually say they go just slightly faster than what they actually are. Right now the bike's showing 13 miles an hour and the GPS is showing 14. So I'm gonna go ahead in and change the tire size to 24 because it's currently set at 22, and we'll see if that makes any difference. So to change the tire size, you just hold the up and down arrow, select where it says wheel. I'm gonna change that to 24 there. go down to exit, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's try this again. 15 on the display, 14 on the GPS, so it may be reading about 1 mile an hour higher. Right now it's both 15, so I don't know, it might be pretty close this way. We're gonna go ahead, leave it set at that for the rest of this trip and see if the odometer is a little bit more accurate. Let's try to hit 16 on the display. Right now it's both at 15. $16 on the display, 16 on the odometer. So yeah, at 24, it looks like the speedometer is slightly more accurate. So like I said, we'll see if that levels out the odometer, the trip meter. Right now, I'm at 11.7 miles on trip, 12.5 on the bike. So it is currently 0.8 of a mile off, reading a little bit shy. So it actually is reading a little bit more higher than I thought. The bike's showing 28, GPS is showing 26, so I may lower that back down to 22. Seems like maybe it should have been at 23 to be a little more accurate for the odometer. But overall, guys, it's pretty close either way. You can't set it to 23. They only give you the option of 22 or 24 for the wheel size. I love riding these backcountry roads for the scenery and the view, guys, but sometimes it is dangerous. Sometimes cars fly around these corners. If you're ever riding on these country roads, make sure you stick to your inside going around the turns, especially, and when you come to a crest of a hill, make sure you stay on all the way over to your side of the road and never stop before a crest of a hill. If you have to stop to do something, try to stop on the peak of the hill so you can see what's coming or going, so nobody hits you and you can be prepared to get out of the way if you have to. So beautiful day for riding, guys. Not real hot. I mean, it's just, fall's coming, which is my favorite time of year for riding. Fall time with the leaves changing, they're gonna start changing here soon, and just beautiful time of year to be riding. The downfall to that is winter time is gonna be here soon as well, which means I'm not gonna be riding much once it gets super cold. I hate doing those videos, try to get the testing done as fast as possible, and can't really show you guys as good as I normally can in the summertime of how the bike performs. But I appreciate all of you that have watched my videos and have stuck around through the cold and the hot, the good and the bad. Really appreciate the views, guys, and hope you guys are learning something, and hopefully this helps you out in making informed decisions. So I'm just pedaling a little bit there because it's a slight uphill. Bunch of beautiful cornfields in the background. Love these country views, country riding, guys. Another thing I noticed is this motor on this bike is super quiet. I mean, I don't know if you can tell here, I'm full throttle and I can barely hear the motor. Some bikes are very loud, some bikes are pretty quiet, and this is definitely one of the more quieter ones. All right, so we're gonna try out the suspension on here, and the front suspension is really nice, feels really smooth. What's odd is there is a compression adjustment on the right-hand side, but on the left there is no preload. That's a little bit odd to see. Most bikes have a preload adjuster, but I don't think you need it, guys. It's really soft in my opinion. Now, this bike, I do have the Red Shift, I forget the name of it, Red Shift, anyway, it's a Red Shift suspension seat post. I'll think of the name here probably in a minute. Very comfortable post in the back to take out those blows. Now, it does not come with that. That is an additional like $200 on the Red Shift site. I have links down in the description if you guys are interested in picking up one of these seat posts, or you could just get a cheap Zoom suspension seat post for like $30. Highly recommended for this bike because it will be a little bit hard on your butt if not, because there is no rear suspension. But really nice here with the setup I got here. Or you might be able to just put a softer seat on like the Cloud 9 seat and you might be okay with that. But as you can see, front suspension really soft. Like I said, just need to do something about the back suspension. All right, here we go, up one of the steepest hills. Gonna just do throttle only and see if it'll make it up it. Dying down pretty good here, guys, but not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and start pedaling. I'm barely putting in any effort. So yeah, almost made it all the way up that hill with just throttle only, and just had to put very, very, very minimal effort into it. And the battery is down somewhere, I don't know, maybe around 50% or so. I'd have to shut it off and turn it back on, because I noticed in a lot of these bikes, it actually keeps the measurement of your battery when it's under load. Now, that's good that they do it this way. That way, when you're looking at the display and it's at 37%, like my bike's at right now, that's under load at 37%. So you won't run out of battery prematurely, because it's basing it off of when you're under load. Now, if you were at 0% when you were under load, then yeah, you're gonna be out of battery life. All right, guys, steep grassy hill test. This is after 22 miles of riding. Pedal assist 5, gear 1, full throttle, one-handed, and I was able to make it up it. And again, that's after 22 miles of riding, and the battery level is at 45% at an idle, and at about, before I shut the bike off, turned it back on, it was at 30. So right around 45% battery life. Throttle only, pedal assist 5, and this is a 52 volt bike. All right, guys, didn't quite make it to the top, and this is a fully charged battery, so I would say a little bit less power than the Magicycle Cruiser Pro, which I'm actually surprised by, because this is supposed to have the same 96 Newton meters of torque as that bike. Let's try it pedaling. Pedal assist 5, gear 1, pedaling a little bit. Do it one-handed here, very easily. All right, so I made it back. We did a 22-mile trip according to GPS, and on the display 21.7. So now it's starting to go up a little bit. Before I was 0.8 of a mile shy. Now I'm about a half a mile shy, with the tire size set at 24. So it is creeping back up. I'm probably going to change that back down to 22 for the tire size, but it seems like maybe 22.5 to 23 would have been right on the money. Overall, pretty accurate. Only about a half a mile to maybe a mile per hour off on the display, and I'm not going to complain about about a mile off in 22 miles. So pretty good in my opinion as far as accuracy goes. Now, in that 22-mile trip, it says that we have 47% battery life left. I'm going to go ahead into the display here, go down to the advanced settings, change that to display the battery voltage instead of percentage. And it's showing that we have 51.5 volts left of the battery, and 58.8 volts is fully charged on a 52 volt battery. Now, in my opinion, it does have slightly less power than the Magicycle Cruiser Pro, probably more similar to their original Magicycle that had 86 Newton meters of torque. This is supposed to be the same as the Cruiser Pro, so I was a little disappointed just slightly with the little bit less power. But guys, this is still one of the most powerful bikes that I have, and it has went extremely well on that trip up and down all those hills flawlessly with just minimal pedaling. I mean, this bike is fast. 29 miles per hour with just throttle only is really, really good. Very good overall in my opinion. Now, if you guys are interested in any accessories that I have on here, like my cell phone holder or the Rock Bros bag that I have on back, really nice bag with fold down panniers that I show in some other videos. I'll put links to all that stuff down below, as well as bike alarms, really cheap bike alarm for like 18 bucks that I highly recommend. Chain locks, disc locks, all kind of stuff. So make sure you guys check those links out. And if you guys are interested in one of these, I'll put links down there for that as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed and found this video helpful. Please leave a comment down below. It really helps my channel out. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys around on the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone.